Velika mi je čast i zadovoljstvo da u ovoj emisiji iz ciklusa Prepoznavanje mogu da ugostim čoveka koji je uneo revolucionarne stvari u živote mnogih od nas. Neki od nas su se već susreli sa rekonektivnim sistemom isceljivanja, neki se tek interesuju za njega, ali sve u svemu velika stvar se dešava u 21. veku po pitanju rekonektivnog isceljenja. Pozdravit ću gospodina Erika Pearla. Hello, Eric. Welcome to Belgrade.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to Belgrade, because I love Belgrade. Thank you for having me on your program.
This is not the first time that you are in Belgrade.
Oh no, I think I've been here in Belgrade maybe as many as 8 times. Sometimes just for the fun of it.
You are here for one good election for all of us. And what will happen in Zagreb in October?
Well, October 9th through the 13th, I believe. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yes. October 9th through 13th in Zagreb, we're going to be teaching the Reconnective Healing training programs, a new training program, a more evolved training program than we've been teaching before. So this actually, why don't we say, more fully equips the new practitioner, just as any healthcare profession, of course, progresses in the teaching, you know, and a teacher, a doctor who graduated in 1938 might not know as much as a doctor who graduated in 2008. And so, of course, the teaching has advanced. What will happen on Friday night, October 9th, is that I'll give a 3-hour presentation where we will talk about the history of reconnective healing, the theory, the philosophy, the science. We will give everyone an opportunity to feel this in your hands. We'll begin to teach you how to work with it. And we will continue on that Saturday and Sunday with the level 1 of the training program, teaching you how to do self-healing and to assist in the healing of your immediate circle of friends and family. So let's say you attend the seminar. What will happen is, and by the way, the entire training program is simultaneously translated into Serbian, Slovenian, and Croatian with headsets, so it's simultaneous. And many of our teaching assistants are from these areas and speak the language fluently, so you don't have to speak English. I don't have to speak Serbian, Croatian, or, help me, Slovenian.
You know to say Maja?
I know how to say Maja. Maja? Okay. Now, what will happen is if you attend, you'll see me demonstrate a level of the work from the stage, and we'll all go to massage tables. You might stand at the head of the massage table, someone else will lie down on the massage table. The teaching assistants and or I will walk around you, we'll take your hands, we'll show you how to find these frequencies, feel them, play with them, work with them. You will witness right in front of your very eyes the person on your massage table go into involuntary movements of their fingers, their feet, their arms, their legs, their eyes. We'll show you how to expand that experience for them, then you'll trade places with them so you get to experience it while they work with you. We'll go back to the chairs, talk some more, demonstrate new level of the work, go back to the tables again, and you'll continue through this on Saturday and Sunday of the Level 1 training program. If you choose to learn this work on what is considered a professional level, meaning you don't have to practice this as a professional, but it's an available health care field career for you. It's legalized in Serbia, for example. Then we will teach you at that professional level, and you will be able to become a foundational, what's called a foundational reconnective healing practitioner, which, by the way, after the first of the year, 2016, will be the only practitioner considered to be a professional reconnective healing practitioner if you've attained the level of foundational practitioner. You will learn how to do professional sessions because we will bring people into the seminars who are not even attending. They don't even know what to expect, and you'll practice with them. We'll teach you how to do this via distance. We'll teach you how to do it holographically. We'll teach you levels of subtlety and nuance that will greatly expand the experience for you and for the people you're working with. We'll even teach you the beginnings of how to set up and build and develop your own healing practice, because isn't it nice to be able to have a way to bring income into your life and your family's life, or support yourself and your family by doing something that makes your heart sing, by being able to touch as many people with healing as possible. And by the end of the full level 1-2 training program, I can pretty much make you 2 promises, which are A, you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of this expanded realm of healing called reconnective healing that I can do. And you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of energy healing and beyond that anyone, anywhere on this planet can do, no matter how many energy healing techniques they've mastered or even created, or whether they were born into a family lineage of healers, or whether they were raised by monks in a cave in a mountaintop in Tibet. It doesn't matter the story. Today, there's a way to reach a higher level than we've been able to all throughout history. And the first step into that is to allow ourselves to demystify the healing process so it can become clear and transparent to everyone. And the next level of that is for us to transcend our techniques, to release them, to recognize that our techniques have been marvelous training wheels for us, but the training wheels on the bicycle, we only receive the full gift of those training wheels once we remove them from the bicycle. And we're either here to master the bicycle with training wheels or to master the bicycle itself. And we are either here today to master our energy healing techniques or to master healing itself, to recognize that we are more than our techniques, we are more than technique itself, and reconnective healing allows us the ability to step into this consciousness.
Okay, so that you could initiate the awakening of thousands of people around the world, you had to awaken yourself first. How did this awakening take place?
That's an interesting question, because how does an awakening take place? Is that you recognize something. Do you recognize it subtly? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope we can listen.
So Eric, that you could initiate the awakening of thousands of people around the world, you had to awaken yourself. How did this awakening take place?
This awakening did not happen with a great deal of subtlety. Really, it happened with some very unusual, unexpected occurrences. I was sound asleep one night, and I woke up because a bright light woke me up. I opened my eyes, and it was the lamp next to my bed. It turned itself on. I thought maybe it was an electrical short, except shorts usually turn things off. My bedroom door was open. I was pretty sure it was closed when I went to sleep. I felt as if somebody was in my house. I felt as if somebody had been watching me. I got up, I searched through the house, I couldn't find anyone. I decided it was just my imagination. I went back to sleep, but on that Monday, when I went into my office, I would adjust my patients through chiropractic, have them lie on their back with their eyes closed and relax for a minute or two to allow the adjustment to settle into place. And when they started opening their eyes, one after the next, started telling me that they thought that someone had walked into the room and was watching them, just the way I felt people were watching me in my house. They said they could feel sets of my hands resting on different locations of their body simultaneously, their feet, their head, underneath them, on their back, things that were just physically not possible. As I held my hands near them, I felt unusual sensations. As I pulled and played with the sensations, their fingers went into involuntary movements, their arms and legs moved, their eyes would dart back and forth. When they opened their eyes, they told me they were seeing colors they'd never seen, smelling flowers they'd never smelled. Some of them were getting up out of wheelchairs, others had vision and hearing returning. Patients were coming in days later showing me laboratory results where apparently their doctors told them that their cancer tumors or other things had vanished. Not everyone, but a lot of them. Enough so that we knew that something real was happening. Children with cerebral palsy or epilepsy were suddenly able to walk and run and play and speak normally and not have seizures and not need medications. Their parents would call and ask me what I had done. Their doctors would call and ask me what I had done. I said, I didn't do anything and don't tell anyone. Oh, the minute I said don't tell anyone, everyone started talking. Soon people started coming asking me to teach this. And I said, you have got to be crazy. I'm standing there waving my hands in the air looking a little foolish. And I know I talked about this last night, but really all I could say to people was, you go out and wave your hands in the air, tell me what your neighbors say about you. But my patients would call me up and they'd say, I drove home from your office, my automatic garage door opened by itself, I walked into my house, my lamp on my TV turned off and on, I felt feelings in my hands, I held them by someone in my family, suddenly my grandfather could hear again, or my aunt was able to walk or smell or whatever. People were having healings and we don't quite know how. But we do know that there is an interaction. There is an interaction that is tangible, palpable. You can feel it. You can often see the response physically with it. You want to feel it? Would you like to feel it? Okay. Put the mic in that hand for a second.
I can see.
Okay. So as I move my fingers, your fingers began to move differently?
Yes.
Are you moving your fingers, or are your fingers moving themselves?
No, I'm not sure.
Feel like. Describe it.
Like, I'm not sure. It's very nice and calm.
If someone says, well, what feels similar to what you say?
I feel secure.
Secure, okay.
Yes.
So emotionally, there's a calm, secure feeling. Physically, does it have a temperature? Does it have vibration? What's it have?
It's a little bit hot.
A little bit hot?
Yes.
So, my hands are too far away from holding your body heat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So then my hands must be very hot. They must be giving you heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the temperature of my hands?
It's cold.
They're cold.
But my cheek is hot. I feel that it's hot.
Okay. Right here?
It's
on my
normal.
hands.
It's normal.
Right. So where's the heat coming from? Reconnective healing apparently seems to turn the laws of physics and quantum physics, as we know it, upside down and inside out. Heat brings about coolness. Distance with these frequencies, instead of getting weaker, actually becomes stronger. It's a whole new world. So scientists and researchers started coming from everywhere to study this work, and they said that from what they're able to witness, observe, measure, that they feel that whereas we've had energy healing on this planet up until now through our energy healing techniques, getting different aspects of the energy that's been here, what reconnective healing does, because it has no technique and is not a technique, is instead of capturing the Reiki portion or Jinshin or Qigong or any of the techniques, even the new ones, it accesses all of the energy that's been here, that science has known has existed, and then starts to show science aspects of light and information it's never witnessed here before. The reconnective healings usually, not every time, but usually tend to be fairly immediate, tend to be lifelong, tend to happen, according to scientists, that way because they happen outside of the constraints of what we have recognized up until now as time and space.
Your life has accelerated greatly since the awakening. How do you cope with this? How do you set the limits? And when do you let go? What are the benefits of that?
Oh my God, that's a huge question. Let's start with the first part. You said my life has accelerated. What was the first question in that?
Yes, yes.
Accelerated, and how do I cope with this? Gee whiz, I never thought about that. I take things as they come. I really do. I'll tell you that we always have a choice in life. Our choice is to view things from a perspective of fear or a perspective of love. We could be afraid of healings and expanded consciousness and awareness, or we can enter into it from a perspective of love, which in this sense would be a perspective of awe and wonder, recognizing we're standing in the presence of something huge, wonderful, and apparently, according to scientists, new. I believe we're here to discover what's new, so I simply step into it. I believe that very many people on this planet walk around wondering what the reason is that they were ever even born. What are we doing here? Is there a life purpose? I think we're fortunate if we discover our life purpose, and I think we're truly fortunate if we have the courage to choose to live that life purpose. I'm truly fortunate. I'm going to live this life purpose, and I believe it's not just to facilitate healings, but it's to raise the level of consciousness so as many people on this planet can learn to facilitate reconnective healing as possible. This then changes our consciousness. Now, changing of our consciousness actually is having some scientific documentation. For example, at least half a dozen studies so far show that reconnective healing changes physically our DNA. One study published by the University of Arizona, just on a physical level, shows that only minutes of reconnective healing is more than twice as effective as physical therapy, restoring the range of motion of the limbs of the body. But studies done with human DNA, animal DNA, and plant DNA shows that reconnective healing restructures our DNA in a way that it raises the levels of light that we emit. Now, some of us are just going, what do you mean we emit light? I thought that's just a spiritual concept. It's more than that. Scientifically, we know from the work of Dr. Fritz Popp in Germany and others continuing his work that the DNA in our cells emits specific levels of light, that when our health is diminishing, that light is dimming. When our health is coming back up, that light is coming back up. That our bodies, we know today, heal through light. The light model explains many things that the older biochemical model, which is now obsolete, couldn't explain for us, such as how can something happen to one part of your body and immediately affect another part of your body. Biochemicals took time to travel. The light wave is everywhere at once. What reconnective healing does is it not only raises the level of light, but it makes it more what science calls coherent, which translates to harmonic. Now think for a moment. What is it when we are not demonstrating optimal health? It's a disharmony, right? Because we are creatures of balance or imbalance. Coming back into balance is coming back into harmony. Leaving harmony or disharmony is our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health imbalance. So when the light becomes more harmonic, it returns us back to a state of harmony and balance. But there's more. Because this is the restructuring of our DNA. Now, our brains also don't work the way we were taught. We used to think that there were little areas in our brain, one for speech, one for memory, one for language, one for this, one for that. We know today from the works of such researchers as Drs. Carl Pribram and Carl Lashley and others that that's no longer an accepted model. We know today that the information is diffused throughout our brains, and it's not even within our brains, but it's existing in a field of information called, by science, 0-point field. We're always playing in this field. When we're paying the least amount of attention to it, we're most in it. Children One child sees another child who's asleep, so they walk over to the sleeping child and they stare at them until they wake up. They're playing in the field. You think about someone you haven't thought about for 30 years, and 30 minutes later they shoot you an email. You're in the field. So people who are geniuses, people who are psychics, people who are healers, it's no big secret. They're just accessing that field a little bit differently. So use the analogy of a computer. You have a computer. By itself, it's a metal box. It does nothing until you install a software program. And you get information out of the computer, and you access information from that internet field out there somewhere. If you upgrade the software, what happens? More information in the computer and better access to the internet field out there somewhere. So think for a moment, what if your brain, what if our brains are our hardware? What if our DNA is our software? And what if those studies, international studies, are accurate as they seem to be? Then what happens through reconnective healing? What even just happened when I played with your fingers a minute ago is the equivalent of a human software upgrade, which allows not only for better access from within the brain, but better access of that multidimensional zero-point field, better and more comprehensive awareness. If we understand that we go where our attention goes, then we're not just more aware of our multidimensional existence, but we become, you in that interaction have become more multidimensionally aware, therefore you have become a more multidimensional human being. Therefore, as we assist each other with this, we are actually assisting in the next level of human evolution. I believe, as strange as this sounds, and I know that it does to some people in many ways, that humanity is standing right now on the precipice of the next level of human evolution. And we know it on the inside. We're craving it. We're ready for it, just like birds know when to fly north and when to fly south. And that is why so many people around the world are learning and studying reconnective healing. Just alone in our training programs and seminars, we've taught close to 100,000 people. I speak at hospitals, universities, the United Nations. This is in private medical practices, as well as in hospitals. But it's also learned and practiced absolutely equally as well by people who have no background in the healthcare field whatsoever.
I have my own reconnecting healing experience, and yes, I have. And after that, a lot of my friends told me, "You're more lighter. You're light." That's the key word, light.
You know what else happens with that? Obviously, I'm interviewed on a lot of programs, morning talk shows, nighttime talk shows, on the magazines, on health and fitness. But you know who else likes to interview me with reconnective healing? Health and beauty and fashion magazines. Now, I wondered why. And then I started realizing that something strange seems to occur with a lot of people who start to become reconnective healing practitioners. Often within a few months, they come back to me saying, "My family wants to know what I've done. They say I look 15 or 20 years younger."
Or maybe, are you in love?
Yes, or are you in love? Well, that's a whole other story. No, I'll tell you. But what happens is, as the light changes within our DNA, it brings about more regeneration of our tissue, our connective tissue, our muscle tone, the change in how we look, how we appear, who we are, how we feel. And let's face it, you can put the best clothes on someone. If they walk around like this, it's not going to look as good as once we have that change. That happens from a change within us, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We carry ourselves differently. It changes the light that we emit, the makeup. Well, first, what's the light? What's underneath? What's the canvas that we paint with the makeup and other things? And then how does it manifest back into what you said, love? I used to tell people, jokingly, I would say, you know, reconnective healing should come with a warning. caution. Reconnective healing may radically alter the course of your life. It's not that it alters it, it's that it thrusts you onto your life path so phenomenally that you find not only do you have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healings, but they manifest in ways where you throw yourself onto your career path in a different way. You find out what you've been doing has been fine, but there's a finer way for you to do it, or there's a change in what your drive is. It changes our relationships for the better. And
friendships and other.
I can tell you, it changes our love life. I get a lot of reports that it changes people's love lives, their sex lives, and you know what? No one has complained about it so far.
So, how many times have you circumnavigated the world giving lectures and running seminars on reconnection?
Oh my God, I don't know how to say that, how to answer that. I live on the road approximately 40 weeks a year. I live my life out of 2 or 3 giant suitcases and a huge computer roller bag. The way most people drive to work, I guess I sort of fly to work. I flew approximately, because of the timing of my presentation here in Serbia and the end of my presentation wherever I was that I came from. Oh, I actually was in California. I flew almost 30 hours and 5 airplanes. 5 airplanes to get here yesterday with 45 minutes to check into the hotel, shower, shave, change, and get on stage. And as stressful as it can be during some of the travel, especially when the flights are so close together, you're not sure you're going to make them. When I got on stage, knowing what I was talking about, hey, everything disappeared. I found a center and an energy where, on one hand, I could say, logically, who knows where it came from? Now, the thing with reconnective healing is, where does it come from? Where does it come from? Well, you pick the word you like. I'm going to tell you it comes either from God, or from love, or from the intelligence of the universe, whatever word makes you happy. It has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with spirituality. Something causes trees to grow up and tree roots to grow down and children to be born with 2 eyes and 1 nose, so call it what you will. The laws of the universe are what allow reconnective healing to interact so expansively with us and allow us to become more universal in who we are in our lives.
Let me tell you something. When I was thinking about this question about interview, I had a vision that you will be the next winner of Nobel Prize. Why are you joking? It's not a joke. Because when I read this book, I had a vision that I will meet, and now my vision is getting true. So I'm. Why are you looking like that at me? I'm really.
I am flattered or honored that you would even suggest that. I guess people see me differently than I see myself. You live with yourself every day. You get up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you shower, you get dressed, you do what you're going to do. At the end of the day, you think about some of the things you've done and how you can do them better. You relax a little, you go to sleep, you start your next day. To me, other people win Nobel Prizes. I guess I'm in this because it's what I'm compelled to do. It has nothing to do with a prize or an award. It's hard for me to even envision myself that way, so I guess it made me laugh. But I thank you very much for that real laugh, because the laugh wasn't at what you said, the laugh was from the smile that it gave me in my heart that you would look at me that way, so thank you.
Thank you. It's a huge honor to meet you. And thank you for everything. Thank you for your book and your method. And
pleasure. Reconnective healing, again, is not a technique. It's not a technique. It's a way for us to recognize that we are more than our techniques, that we are more than technique itself, and that the true way to access healing is to kiss our techniques, bless them, thank them for what they've brought us to, and realize to only honor the or to truly honor the technique is to transcend the technique itself. By the way, if you're looking for more information, just like the title of the book is called The Reconnection, the website is thereconnection.com, and we will be teaching in Zagreb at the West End starting, did we say the 9th? The 9th of October through the 13th, and we hope to see you there.
I hope also. This YouTube channel calls in Serbian Prepoznavanje. It's mean recognition in English. So nastavljamo da se prepoznajemo i hvala gospodinu Eriku Pearlu što je bio gost ove emisije.